Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. Let's give all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone that taught us this word. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth. So I just got this article out of Russia today. Basically, the mayor of Kiev, Ukraine, wants to lower the draft age because a lot of guys are jumping ship, running to avoid the conscription or the draft. And that same thing is going to happen here in America. There's going to be a draft, because this war, World War III, is coming up. It was dated November 12th, 2025, entitled "Kiev Mayor Calls for Lowering the Draft Age," because that war is going to just escalate more and more, until other, countries get involved, to where this World War III is in full swing. And, that's what we look forward to, because that's when, Yahweh Shai is going to make his second debut, it's his return on the planet Earth, and deliver his elect men. But Vitaly Klitschko says Ukraine faces huge problems finding soldiers as men continue to flee abroad to escape conscription. Yeah, people don't want to take part in this war. They don't want to end up dying, so they're fleeing abroad. What they would call a draft dodger. And that's just going to happen on a wider scale. It's going to come over to America too, when America gets involved. This Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko has called for the draft age to be even lowered further in Ukraine. Last year, Ukraine lowered the draft age from 27 to 25 and tightened enforcement to replenish the ranks of its military as troops continue to suffer heavy losses and lost the ground to Russian forces. Russian officials have urged Kiev to drop it to 18, but Vladimir Zelensky has resisted. That's crazy, because in America, the draft age is 18. Every male, because I remember I had to do it, every male turning 18, right before you graduate from high school, you have to sign up for the selective service at 18. So, I don't think America can drop it down any lower than 18. But there is going to be a draft here in America as well. Skip it down. In the past, 18-year-olds served the army. He noted. The politician later amended that those are kids, and it said the draft age could be lowered by a year or two. So over there in Ukraine, they don't believe in 18-year-olds serving, but in America, high schools are serving. Going back to Vietnam War, that was the last draft that they had, and there was a lot of uproar over that. But then again, it's going to happen again. The second Ezra 16 and 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Why? Because they're all get sent off to the war. There are multiple wars, In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So it's going to come a time when, here in America, all the men, able-bodied men, 18 to 36 or 40, are going to be shipped off, to die in these wars. And they're going to die, man. There's no coming back from that, man. Because the Most High is going to release, his indignation, his anger, his righteous anger, which is the fire of his jealousy, which is those missiles. They're going to touch down over there in the Middle East, where the war's at, Valley Decision. They're going to touch down in America, mainly America. They're going to destroy the 10th part of the city will fall. the whole land of America. This is Joel 3:13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is near in the valley of decision. It says multitude, valley of decision. That's over there in the Middle East, where the bulk of that World War III is going to take place. It says multitudes, yeah. All the bridegrooms, husbands, and helpers. All the women are going to mourn because all the men are going to be shipped off. The Lord said, He's going to keep thee far from the northern army. So the men of the Lord, the elect, they're not going to get caught up in this. So I'll keep thee from the northern army, the Norcom. But let me jump up, actually. Verse 10, beat your plowshares, Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares and swords, your prudy hooks and spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Yeah, take out your agricultural equipment and turn them into weapons of war. Basically build up your arsenals. And that's what a lot of these countries are doing. Building up their arsenals, building up their hypersonic missiles, building up their missile defenses. Trump talking about a golden dome that he wants to put over America. It's a missile defense system. But none of them golden domes and iron domes, those defenses, none of those are going to work. Because the Lord said, none shall break their ranks. One's not going to thrust upon another. Each missile is going to hit its intended target. Let the weak say, I'm strong. All these smaller countries like Pakistan, India, North Korea, they're saying they're strong. Why? Because they have that nuclear technology, So they were once weak nations, but now they're strong nations because they have that nuclear capability, that nuclear arms, that weapon, the great equalizer. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Yeah, another name for the valley decision in the Middle East. Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Yahweh's judgment. The land of Yahweh's judgment, man. There will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. I was going to judge them for that nuclear missile, that destruction. All the bodies, man. That was Ezekiel 39 and 12, because that's going to be the first job of these heathens, man, is the one to survive. And they go into slavery under the elect, under Yahweh Shai. The first job is to clean up these bodies, or bury these bodies, to clean up the earth, to replenish the earth. Ezekiel 39 and 12. In 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown, the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord, power. And read up, it's talking about that nuclear destruction now. After the nuclear destruction, This is the point. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land, to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. That's a complete amount of time, a complete amount of days, man. The elect, they're going to be severing out men of continual employment. These other nations, slavery. And they're going to bury these bodies, man. And that's going to cleanse the earth and rejuvenate and replenish the earth. Yeah, if you read up, it talks about how, the elector's going to burn all the weapons of war after that destruction, Get that spiritual power. it's after the destruction and all the dead bodies that are laying out. It's a part of the judgment. It's the first job that these kings, these other nations are going to be doing, and the other people of these other nations are going to be burying the dead over there in the Middle East. But yeah, I just want to bring this out. The mayor is calling for the lowering of the draft age. Why? Because that war is not, it's intensifying. It's not cooling down. It's not easing up. They're not giving up. He wants to lower the draft age and bring in more people. Keep this thing going, man. But with that, shalom.